In realms long forgotten, there are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the Land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Tilda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Catcher Donahue, human bard.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Badger, a forest gnome monk.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged Cloak of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Al, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the dungeon master on this adventure.
Where's my slipper?
The important question to start the
Yeah, right.
We need to keep that.
What a great opening line.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Cormyr Echoes of War. How are we all doing tonight?
Very well, thanks.
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, nothing caught fire, nothing exploded last week, which is good. So, hopefully we can repeat that continued success into tonight. And yeah.
That sounds really, really suspicious, Dan.
Read between the lines. Read between the lines.
Do not know what you're talking about. Right. I reckon with you lot trampling around Arabel, we jump straight back into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
To shopping, please.
Marvellous.
Shopping, shopping, shopping.
We rejoin the Warhounds in the city of Arabel, the fiercely independent hub of mercenaries and adventurers in the north of Cormyr, proudly defiant of the restrictions placed by the Crown in the wake of the attack on Fort Lymera. Having returned from the King's Forest, the Warhounds now find themselves preparing for a hunt for clues to the whereabouts of a powerful artifact which has caught King Ezered's attention. Thanks to the mysterious visions of Renna, the Warhounds have decided that Wheloon is their first port of call. Some say the town remains cursed, haunted by a lingering darkness after condemnation by a former king to become a prison colony, after Sharon worship was found to be rife among the population. Whilst Wheloon has since been reinstated as a town, there are many dark secrets which lurk just out of sight, waiting to be unearthed. Regardless, our adventurers must press on, ever in the knowledge that no matter where you go, a shadow always follows you.
Oh dear.
And
Who is our shadow? That's the question.
Let's say it's
I mean,
not
usually
nice to
Slate
talk
or
about.
Emily.
It's true.
so, we find the Warhounds pretty much in the centre of Arabel. The city is still a picture of bustling activity as merchants go about hawking their wares. Mercenaries and adventurers find themselves new jobs for more prospective coin. And the common folk just carry on with their day-to-day lives. So yes, we found you. We left you kind of in one of the shopping districts, very close to a shop that is familiar to you, a magic emporium for adventurers, where there is a gout of pink smoke gently drifting out of one of the several crooked chimneys that jut from the roof of this building, and hanging over the front door is an elaborate sign that says El-Hazir's Emporium. Is there anyone which wishes to go in to said Emporium?
Yes.
Before
Yes.
we go anywhere, Ameline would definitely be showing off her new gown,
Yes.
which I haven't got in my inventory, but would do whatever I was doing with it that would make it change. I'd be like,
Okey-dokey.
and I can do this, and definitely there's gonna be some spinning around and changing into different people and changing the gown and being like, haha, see, it works in any occasion. It can be used in mud, or it can be used in a fancy ball, or it can be used to look a little bit trashy. It's basically for all occasions.
Well, are you doing this out on the street, changing into other people and changing your dress at the same time?
I mean, this is like the little bit of the sideway, right? El-Hazir isn't on the main
I'm
bit.
asking
is it?
Yeah.
if you're doing this on the street. You can also see Hiram using his cape to just constantly shield you away from other people. Like, oh yes, very very cool. This is really really nice. Yes, indeed. And I'm just like, nothing to see here.
Yeah, Hiram, as you say that, there is a merchant, kind of like a courier carrying a box, that's just kind of minding his own business as he ponders along, and then like looks over, morning, nods to you all, and then kind of looks back and notices that, wait, what is that the same? Carries on a few more steps, looks over his shoulder just in case Slate's become someone else, and yeah, he leaves the alleyway somewhat confused by the seeming roundabout merry-go-round of people being shielded by the half-orc paladin.
That reminds me, what armor did I buy for Drool again?
I believe you bought Scale?
Scale, that was it.
Scalay.
Yes, so as Slate is rotating through their sort of like their outfits on their new shimmerweave gown, Badger, as a gnome, you're quite proficient with illusions and sort of like seeing through them, and you notice, like, as you peer hard at the dress, you can see that there is a gown that Slate is wearing. It's like a tunic, if you will, but it seems that the tunic itself is just displaying very very authentic looking illusions, but it just allows Slate to, like, it seems to make like a leatherish tunic, but yeah, it just seems to be able to illusionarily take the form of whatever Slate wishes it to take the form of.
Does that mean that anyone with true sight can't actually appreciate the gown properly?
Fortunately not. Yeah.
Aww. Oh well.
Yeah. All those
Don't tell
poor
Slate
dragons.
that.
Yeah.
Badger just spares a sad thought for all the people with true sight, and as she appreciates this lovely gown.
So yes, Slate, that your shimmerweave fundamentally as like an action or whatnot, you can basically, whenever you change shape, you can be wearing what you're supposed to be wearing, rather than having Chiron run around in a slinky red number.
Yay.
Not that that wasn't a good look.
Yeah, hilarious
It was
as
a very,
that was.
it was a very good look, to be fair.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going to still happen it from time to time.
Oops, did I leave this old thing on?
Also, out of character,
Yes.
don't we? And feel free to correct me on this, guys, because it's been a while. Don't we owe them something?
No, so we paid them back by taking the gnomish gauntlet to Suzail
Yes,
and using
that
it to
was it.
hunt Garabrail, which implies, actually, and Badger will probably say this in character covertly to you guys before we go in, it implies that perhaps they knew something about Garabrail and they have Cormyr's best interests at heart.
It's
Balthazar and Zumbo, Badger is whispering about things that you have no real clue about.
Balthazar's reading his new book about Timora that he found in the temple.
Oh yes. But no, Badger is absolutely right. Yeah, the last time you saw, well, the last kind of contact, quote unquote, you had with El-Hazir was to be given a parcel to take to Suzail, which was the gauntlet, which eventually ended up on the hand of Magnus, and thankfully didn't blow him up. So,
Yeah.
yes, who is there anything that you lot want to look for in El-Hazir's? Like, have you got anything to chat about or anything to attempt to purchase?
We're going to encourage Balthazar inside because Balthazar's curious about his magic, and El-Hazir is clearly an emporium of magics. And El-Hazir is the greatest wizard in all the world, apart from Magnus. So we should go in.
Wait, you sure should go in there?
Oh yes, it's fascinating. They have lots of things, and besides, I need to increase my chess collection. And she holds up a little glass cleric and 2 little glass paladins that she's collected on her travels so far. They sometimes have those.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean,
Zombo's very keen to just browse as well, so he'll go in.
Okay.
I think with Slate as well, like the last time we went in here, the amount of money we had has drastically improved.
Yes.
And so all the things that Slate wanted at one point, Slate could probably now get. And that's a very, very exciting thing. So Emily's going to walk in head high like, now
pretty
who's
woman.
the fancy lady?
Okay, so in which case, Badger, as you push Balthazar in, Balthazar, like it's this quaint little kind of rounded door. You notice that that the door and every window are utterly mismatched from one another. Everything about this, the facade of this shop says like disjointed, discombobulated, a bit random. But as you watch as Balthazar stoops to get in through the front door, you emerge in a relatively busy magic shop. I say magic shop. It's a shop of curiosities. There are tables of all different shapes and sizes scattered around the shop, various kind of display cabinets and shelves. There is a myriad, a plethora of exotic looking items. Zumbo, as you walk in marveling at the Emporium for the first time, you can see rows of bottled liquids of all colors that you can imagine on one table. There's a tank with some sort of creature lurking about in it that just kind of seems to watch you. You look over, there's a row of jars with eyes kind of bobbing up and down slowly in them, bubbling ever so slightly. You see a dragon skull up on the wall. You see rows of books of various ages. And all of this is quite surprising, but what you find the most surprising is that as you enter, 6 faces turn to look at you, and there are 6 women, all dressed in very similar clothing, except for a slight change in color pattern. And it dawns on you that these 6 women are all identical. And in unison, they should say, "Hello, welcome to El-Hazir's."
Oh, that would never not be creepy.
Hi there. Hello.
Dan, I'm going to need an out-of-character reminder what their names are.
So every time you've come into El-Hazir's and spoken to his 6 daughters,
Yes.
You have always managed to incidentally catch Chantra.
Chantra, that was it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, yes,
It's just
Badger's going to walk very confidently up to the one that was last Chantra. Like the red one, for example, the one in red. And she's going to say, "Chantra, it's so good to see you."
The woman turns and sort of like smiles at you and, "Oh, no, that's Chantra over there," she says, pointing at the one in the yellow rose. And then she turns around as a burly looking mercenary, says, "Excuse me, how much is this?" and kind of pulls her away from you.
Oh, are you sure? Oh, and Badger walks over to the other one instead.
Before Badger gets over to the next one, the right one, I'm gonna lean in and go, "You could say enchanted to see you, enchanted."
Are you? Will it help?
Maybe, I don't know, but it sounds funny to me.
Okay. And Badger walks up and very sincerely says, "Chantra, enchanted to see you."
The So the girl in the yellow robes kind of turns to look at you, and she, "Oh, Miss Ningle, so good to see you. Did you think that one up by yourself?"
No, they did. And points at Slate.
And yeah, Chantra looks up to you and waves at the lot of you. Balthazar, what are you doing? Because you've noticed that, given your size, it's quite difficult to move around without walking into things.
Sorry.
Balthazar's holding his book and is trying to desperately not bang into something.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get out the way. And he's just staring kind of what there is to see around.
Okay, what we're gonna do...
Probably in the middle of the room.
Bang. Is that Slate? That's Slate. Okay, so, okay, as you try to duck and weave through the shop, let's do an acrobatics check.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
with my -1 modifier, is that right?
Oh yes.
Let's go. Oh,
Okay. So the rest of you,
13.
so any of you that are behind him, you watch as Balthazar has to lift his arms up and like read the book above his head as he like slowly jinks and weaves between the various tables. He bumps into a table. You see all the bottles kind of shake around, but Balthazar manages to grab it.
Oh,
before
sorry.
before they tip over. And then one of the daughters comes over, the one in the green robes, and she, "Oh, don't worry about that," she says, and she starts like settling all the bottles back down. She smiles at you and then she wanders off. But yes, Chantra in the yellow kind of walks over with you, Badger, to the rest of the group, and it's all very good to see you. It's been some time. I was worried that something had happened.
Oh, a lot has happened, Chantra. Believe me.
I mean, the last I heard, you'd headed to Cormyr, but no one really you'd headed off to Suzail, but no one really gives us the news, so I don't know what came of it.
Oh, we succeeded to a certain extent.
That's good news. I mean,
Which
I
reminds
suppose
me, I do owe you a thanks for helping us get to my family.
she smiles, and anything we can do to help, she says. But yes, did you appreciate the gift given to you by the gnomes from Lovecraft? Fantastic piece of engineering.
Yes.
The health and safety warnings and labels could have done with some work. But yes, very effective piece of kit.
She looks to you and, but Badger, there was a note on the back to say that only you could wear it. Yeah, it's where it's designed by gnomes. It's fantastic when worn by gnomes, but inherently dangerous if worn by anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You did read the instructions, didn't you? She looks at the silent faces in front of her and takes that as a yes.
Yeah. I mean, good news is now we know that scientifically speaking, it actually can function for a non-gnome for a certain amount of weeks.
Although I wouldn't rely on it. I mean, the lingering long-term health effects of wearing it, even for the shortest amount of time, it could lead to a very gruesome end.
Mm-hmm.
Something like total pulpage?
At best.
Probably at worst. Just out of curiosity.
Something much slower and nastier.
Yeah, Chantra holds her hand on her stomach and, "I'm sorry, I've only recently had lunch and I daren't think about it lest I bring it all back up."
Oh, well.
Yes, what came of your visit to Suzail? Did anything dramatic happen?
Nothing really that major, I don't think, was there? Just that can't think of anything,
We saved
royally
the queen,
different.
and then we deposed her.
She,
And now we're helping her depose the king. Maybe?
That's been made.
she...
Yeah, we forgot. We made the king, and now we're going to depose him, and then
Yes.
put the
Because
queen
he-
back in, maybe, and then maybe probably depose her again. I
Yes.
think it's going to be a cyclical thing.
In short, we got really into politics.
And we're really good at it.
Also,
Well,
the Lovecraft doodah that I definitely wore, that is very, very good at finding portals.
Absolutely, but portals. The physics of portals is one of the things that the Lovecraft gnomes specialize in. So, it's good to have such a powerful ally at our side.
Yes, and it's such a funny thing that the person who was threatening the queen, Arabel, used portals to get about.
There is a twinkle in the woman's eye as she looks to you all and says, "Well, how about that?"
I know, right? Crazy. Such a coincidence.
She claps her hands, looks to Balthazar and Zumbo. My apologies, I don't believe we've met. My name is Chandra. My sisters and I are the serving staff for this wonderful emporium put together by my father, El-Hazir. As she says that, she gestures to the back of the shop, and there's like a semicircular kind of book area with a couple of kind of rickety looking tables, and like on one of the tables, on a chair, teetering very precariously, there is this very old man with a long white beard, a bald head, but like hair coming out the sides of his head in a bit of a scruff. And like you see him on like balancing on this chair on a table on one foot, reaching up, and like at any given moment you feel like he's going to tumble the 10 odd feet to the floor, but he's just reaches up, and like he's reaching up for this book, and like he's mumbling and grumbling to himself. Yes, Balthazar.
Then Balthazar will. Oh, I can get that, and he'll cast Mage Hand, and grab the book for him.
Okay, so as you mage hand the book out a bit, it falls into El-Hazir's hand, and he sort of takes the book down, looks at it, and turns to look at you, and then, like, still on one foot, he pivots on the chair, and then goes to put his other foot down, but misses the chair, and just whoa! You hear there's a crash, there's books going flying everywhere as this old man like crumples to the floor in a heap.
Sorry.
You notice that the old man is not moving.
Balthazar will rush towards him.
Okay. As you go over the, you see this old man, like he's in a blue robe. He is face first into the ground. His arse is in the air. He's all kind of squished up. He slowly lifts himself up, and sort of like as he looks up to you, you notice like his nose is crooked. You don't know whether it's a fall that did that or not. But as he looks up to you, he looks you deep in the eyes, and there's a flicker of recognition, and then he says,
"All right?"
And he pushes himself up, dusts himself up, slaps you on the chest a couple of times, and then pushes past you.
You sure nothing? What was
it?
What was it? But I mean, all right, okay then.
And one of the daughters wanders over to you, the one in the purple robes, and she smiles, and I think Father's having a very good day today. He's been very, very chatty and talkative to all of the customers.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Yes. Chantra in the yellow robe looks to you, Balthazar, looks to you, Zumbo, and pretty much everything in the store is available for sale. If there's anything to your liking, please feel free to ask, she says.
Balthazar will just stare at the books up on the high shelves, peering at them and see what he can find.
Okay. So yeah, as you look up at the books, you notice that every time you kind of look away to look at a different section of the books, when you look back, the books have changed. And so it seems like the
That's
only
a
way.
stressful bookshop.
Right.
I think, but realizing this, Balthazar will desperately look, and as soon as he finds one, he'll dart his mage hand to grab it.
Okay.
And he'll just start collecting a little pile of books.
Sure. Any particular thing that you're focusing on?
Definitely a book on religion.
Okay. Oh yes.
And a few others.
Cool. So you managed to grab Faeruni and Pantheon for Dummies.
Ah.
That's one of the ones you grab. Bahamut and you, and there's a picture of this dragon kind of lounge, reclining on a lounger with a thumbs up.
Yes.
You managed to gather a collection.
There's a few more. He'd like to pick out habits of an effective adventuring parties. There's a book of draw poetry. And Volo's Guide to Monsters, because he thinks that'd probably be quite useful.
Sure. As you grab those books and you're looking at them, Faeruni and Pantheon for Dummies, Bahamut and You, Habits of an Adventuring Party. You're just kind of looking at all of them. You notice that the Drow one, I mean, it's quite a striking looking book. It's like a lavender cover, silver inlay, and you realise it's the notated, the transcribed poems of travelling minstrel extraordinaire Midnight Raven.
Oh God!
I mean, if Katya sees that book, she'll grab it and throw it to the ground. You don't want to touch that book. It is evil.
What's wrong with it? Have I met Midnight Raven? I can't remember.
It's evil, and it will curse you.
Really? Why are they selling it?
She just looks around at the place. It's a magical shop.
Oh.
Because it's a magical book.
All right. Maybe I won't get that one. But Balthazar will secretly keep it in the stash.
So yes, is there anyone else?
Yeah, I imagine Katya's sort of wandering past all the jewelry and everything, and particularly looking at sort of the headbands. See if anything sort of literally speaks to her. As a player, I'm wondering, does El-Hazirs have a headband of intellect?
As you glance across the headbands, the tiaras, the circlets, there's quite a few on display. Some of them look magical. You don't know if they are magical. One of the sisters comes over. So Chantra comes over, asks you what it is you're looking for, but unfortunately regretfully says that unfortunately no, we do not have anything to boost your mental acumen. We can order one in if you like. We can have one made.
Maybe. I was just looking for now, but I mean, if you can get one for the future, then maybe. Hopefully, remember I still want it by then.
She nods, and if you so wish, we can. Well, we can certainly ask Father if he is able to create something akin to that for you. It will take some time, however, but absolutely, we could look into it if you are interested. We take half the payment up front, and then the rest upon completion.
How long are you thinking about? How long would it take?
I would have to speak to Father, who would have to consult the books to find out just how long it takes to craft a magic item. But it is some dozens of days from memory.
You'll understand I'm a little hesitant about putting any money down without any guarantees.
Well, I mean, we're not going anywhere.
Yes, you're not.
Are you planning on going anywhere?
Yes. That's why this would have been very benefit to have now.
Are you planning on coming back?
Hopefully.
Well, then hopefully upon your return we might be able to start having it created, depending on how long it takes. Which I'd have to ask Father about.
Yeah. It's not on the list, but Zumbo would be quite keen to get a set of navigator's tools because he lost his. So a nice spyglass, a nice shiny spyglass, and a compass and things like that.
No worries. So, I reckon that's adventuring supplies. Yes, so you see what appears to be a set of navigator's tools on a shelf, like in a little plush. It's a cyan velvet inlaid box, and it has a price tag of 25 gold pieces attached to it. And yeah, little compass, those little like the compass thingy that you use to measure distances. A compass. Yeah, 25 gold.
Yeah, he'll definitely pick that up. He's also warily glancing at this tank that you mentioned. He's kind of partly he's curious and wants to go look at it. Partly he's keep giving it a wide berth. But
Okay.
I think he's going to go edge a bit closer and examine it from a distance where he can't be grabbed by anything that's in it.
So as you approach the water tank in the corner, like the water is somewhat murky, but you can see like a large shape moving inside it. As you approach, the water, like you get close enough to be able to see into the tank, and a small orange face presses itself up against the side of the glass. Along with two other orange faces, and somehow Betty is in the tank. The creature that was in there, you don't know where that's gone.
So she was on my shoulder a minute ago when I walked up to the tank.
Yeah.
And then when I got to the tank, she was in the tank.
Yes.
That's so Betty.
Classic Betty. Yeah. Okay. Is there some sort of lid I can put on the tank?
There is.
Okay. He's going to quickly slam the lid down on it and just walk away as fast as he can.
Okay, so as you walk away and as you glance back every so often, because like the Bettys have pressed their faces right up against the glass. It seems like it's like the Mona Lisa. No matter where you're stood in the shop, it looks like they're all looking at you. Like they just follow you around the room.
Dumbo does not like this development at all.
Yes. So are you buying the navigator's tool? Sorry.
Yeah, I will be. Does this shop sell magic weapons?
The weapons of a magical nature that you can see around, you can see that there's an engraved trapezium-shaped hand axe that glows ever so slightly. There's a glaive with a cruel and serrated edge.
Yeah.
Those appear to be the only weapons nearby that kind of make your nose tingle as you pass them.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he'd be drawn to either of those particularly, so that's all right.
Okay.
He'll just take his navigator's tools and pay for them.
Sure. As you get the navigator's tools, like you look at them and like there's one of those telescopic telescopes, which is like finely constructed. And as you peer into it, like into the narrow end, you notice that everything looks tiny.
Excuse me. I don't reckon this is working properly.
One of the daughters turns around and, oh, silly, you're using it the wrong way. And she turns it round and gives you the wide end. And as you put it against your eye, everything looks really big and zoomed up.
Yeah, thanks.
And she smiles, nods, leaves.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else for anyone else? Yes, yes, Slate.
Okay, I go up to the nearest daughter on the counter, whoever's like nearest to a thing, and
Yep,
put
see
down
orange-robed one.
orange-robed one. Hello again. You look
Hello.
different, but more full in a good way. More real. Yeah, definitely different to when I saw you last.
She smiles. Thank you.
Yes, well done. Hi. Yes. Okay. So, I've got a few things. I don't know if you've got any of them, but do you have any goggles of identification?
She peers around. Goggles of identification, she muses out loud.
You shouldn't have told me that I could look up the Sorry. It's gonna be a while. No, I'm kidding, it's not.
Okay. She stands on her tiptoes and... Unfortunately, we don't, but we can speak to Father, see what he could... See if we can get one in, or if Father can have some constructed.
I would really like some goggles. I mean, especially to identify things. The amount of times it's just been like, what am I holding? Is this cursed or is it not cursed? And then I use it and then it turns out it's cursed and then I'm cursed for like 3 years.
And goggles are so unbelievably chic at the moment.
Yeah, fetching. So fetching.
Absolutely. If you're particularly interested in Cormyr's latest fashion trend of goggles, then we could absolutely get some together if you wish to. We take half the payment up front and the rest upon completion.
Yes, definitely. Wait, how much is it?
I will have to consult Father, and he will have to look at his books to figure out exactly how much it costs to make it.
Okay, I have 3 more things and then something else.
Okay.
And then I'll write them down on a piece of paper in front of her.
Right, okay. Is this a shopping list of things you would like made?
Yeah, so shopping list of all the dreams and hopes that Slate has for things. And then also, just leaning in really closely.
Yeah.
And Amelie from not so she goes, do you have any twinkling pipeweed?
Sorry, come again?
Twinkling pipeweed? It's just twinkling pipeweed.
She looks to you, and like her face darkens, and then she looks around, just kind of raises her eyebrows, gives you a little nod.
Cool, yeah, cool. How much is it?
She looks at you again, and there's this mischievous look on her face. And then she shouts out, Chantra, could you bring these twinkling pipeweed over from the shelf at the back, please? Yes, this lovely lady was after some twinkling pipeweed. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Chandra. Thank you, Chandra. Oh, you're the best sister, she says. And she... how many bags, my dear?
Well, I would like to know how much it is first, just so I'm not getting, swindled. If you buy it on the street, sometimes it's just...
It's a gold pouch.
I'll have 3 pouches, please.
Marvellous. And she pulls out 3 pouches worth of twinkling pipeweed, and takes the 3 gold from you.
Yay! That will be a good time for when we have a long journey ahead of us and we manage to get into a van.
She smiles. Just make sure to check which part of Cormyr you're in. It's not legal in all areas yet.
Okay. Thank you. And yeah, the goggles of identification.
Absolutely. We will leave the figuring out how much that costs until later. Anyone else?
Do they have any chess pieces?
They do have chess pieces. Okay. They have some... So what have you got? You've got some bishops and some paladins?
I've got a cleric and 2 paladins.
You've got a cleric and 2 paladins. They also have... they've got what appear to be 3 fighters. They're the ones that... They're the small dumb ones that just run forward.
Yeah.
And there's a warlock as well.
I want them all!
Okay. Cool. So they are a gold each. 2 gold for the 3 fighters and a gold for the warlock. As we all know, the warlock is the weird one that goes in an L shape.
So say it again. How much was it?
So 2 gold in total.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, 3 gold. 3 gold in total.
3 gold in total. Excellent. I hand it over.
Okay, cool. Yes. Anyone else? Are we all tuckered out? Okay. In which case, as you finalise your purchases and you leave May with or without a pending receipt for the construction of certain magic items, you find yourselves back out on the streets of Arabel. And yeah, is there anything else you lot wish to do around town before you head back to the World Serpent Inn, tuck in for the night, and then head to Wheloon tomorrow?
I think if there's nothing else to be done, Balthazar will continue checking out some temples.
Okay.
But he'll just do that in his own time.
Sure. So Balthazar's just going to wander around looking at all the shrines and whatnot?
Yeah. Katya may take him to the shrine of Malil.
Okay.
You think Malil might be my god?
Who knows?
I've never tried singing.
You might be good at it with your helmet. It might help with the resonance of your voice. You might have a lovely singing voice.
Fantastic acoustics in here.
Fantastic acoustics.
Okay.
Is anyone else doing anything like noteworthy, or are you all just going to kind of separately potter around the town and ready yourself for tomorrow's shenanigans?
Somebody wouldn't mind having a quick chat with Hiram just on the walk back. It doesn't need to be at a separate location or anything, just as we're walking back to the tavern.
Sure, okay. In which case, yeah, as you make your slow wander back to the World Serpent Inn, go ahead.
Is Emily with us, Hiram? Or is she back at the tavern?
No, she is underfoot.
Okay. So yeah, somewhere will sidle up to Hiram then and kind of nod his head at Emily. I guess she's, I don't know, playing.
Actually, sorry, let me interject. As you ask, and Hiram goes, yeah, and looks down, Emily is gone.
Oh. What do you...
And it dawns on you, you're not 100% sure how long she's been gone for.
Oh. Okay, that's a problem.
Hiram, the little one's gone.
Yes, I have noticed. She was with us when we went into El-Hazir's, right? Yes, she was.
Maybe?
I had to stop her from, grabbing things. She was definitely with us.
Gotcha. As you look around, panicking slightly, Zumbo, you see from sort of like just down the street, emerging from between the walking merchants and whatnot, you see Emily kind of plodding towards you, in what you can only describe as the closest thing to happiness that you've ever seen this young half-orc girl. And you notice that she is wearing a whole new get-up, and dragging on the floor a lot behind her, along the bumpy cobblestone road, is a closed bear trap on a chain. She's just dragging it along like a dead dog.
Oh god.
And she's got she's got a new quiver for her bolts. She's got what looks like a slightly newer, sturdier looking crossbow, and yeah, this bear trap. And
He just leans into Hiram and is like, "You didn't give her your money to hold, did you?"
No.
Yeah, all right then.
And as she approaches, she looks up to you, Hiram. Here's your coin purse, and gives you your coin pouch back.
Oh, how much money do I have left?
She looks in it and I didn't use it all.
That's very nice of you, but, and I do believe we had a conversation about this right in the beginning of this, whatever we are doing here. I have to ask for the money.
I did ask, but you weren't listening, so I just, Also,
Yeah.
everyone says that I'm growing up so quickly, and clearly I was getting too big for my old clothes, so I needed all new clothes.
What is she
Which is
wearing?
fine, Emily, but, let me know. Also, let me know when you're going to disappear.
Oh, wow.
She, fine, she says, but then like you notice her kind of stand up straight. She's got this kind of like quilted jacket. She's still got her tabard on, but she's sort of like the way you watch as she kind of dusts off some like a speck of dust, and there's something approaching pride on her face as she does it. And she kind of holds herself a bit taller.
Yeah, you do look very good.
I know, she says.
Do I want to ask about the bear trap?
Well, I've always heard people talking about them, and it seems like a really funny way of taking someone down.
Can I
Okay.
ask, are we all with them, or Hiram and Zumba and Emily walking?
Completely up to you.
I mean, I'd probably be going back as well, so if that's the case, I'd be watching, like, not next to Hiram or Zumba, but just watching from afar, like, watching as the bear trap, like...
Yeah, like literally, it's on a chain and she's just dragging it along the floor. Like
Yeah.
you've watched it trip up a couple of people as she's been walking along. But yes, she looks at Hiram and Zumbo and, my apologies, please continue.
Oh, I mean, I've been eaten by terrifying sea monsters, and that girl scares me more than anything. He doesn't say that because he's terrified of her, but that's what he's thinking. He just, yeah. Sorry, go on, Dan.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. Well, what was it? You were saying to Hiram before Emily so rudely interrupted you.
Well, yeah, he was kind of going to ask, because he obviously noticed Hiram take Emily out of the room in the World Serpent Inn earlier, and then she came in and just booted Arabel, so he was going to ask if Emily was all right.
So she looks to you.
He's asking Hiram this, not Emily.
Oh, okay, very well. Yeah, sorry.
She is better now, but I mean, you know how it is. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you do know how it is, right? I got the feeling that you are kind of in the same boat as us. Pardon the pun. It's water.
Yeah. I know how it is, Hiram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been, and he looks around a bit sheepishly, making sure that the others don't overhear this. I have been trying to find someone who can help. It feels like it's not something that we are very well equipped to handle on our own. I mean, I have been to the academy. I was training to be a knight, and I don't know why no one ever talked about how to deal with what happens to you that you actually survive.
Yeah, seems like something they ought to address, right?
I mean, you would think so.
Yeah, I wanted to check in with you, really, because, quite a mess at that fort we were in not that long ago, right? And fair bit of fire there. Just thought I'd check in. You doing okay?
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't think it's the fire. I think it's a combination of things. I think it's more, and he looks towards Emily, I think it's more her and smoke.
Ah, okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah, as Hiram says that, and you both look over at Emily, you see her just kind of like swinging the bear trap round. Like a...
Yeah, I mean, maybe being more prepared will help her. She is young. I'm hoping she will bounce back from this a bit easier, but I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing.
What was she? I don't mean no disrespect by this, but how many bear traps was she routinely buying before all this happened to her?
I want to say no, but I genuinely don't know. This might have been a thing anyway. It seems very her.
Yeah, I mean it's good to have hobbies, isn't it? But
As you look over, you can see she's now on her knees in the middle of the street, trying to prise it open, and you notice her fingers are in between the teeth, and she, and she looks up at you. It snaps shut, and she, what?
Maybe don't open it when there are people around. Also, maybe not with your hand.
And she stands up and starts swinging it around again.
Maybe go and show it to Badger.
And she, okay. And she looks at you, Ameline. You're coming with me, she says. Grabs your hand and forcibly leads you off to show Badger the bear trap.
You know, I got a little bit of a... I know this doesn't solve the main problem, but I got a little bit of experience with traps and that sort of thing. I could show her how to... If she's going to have it, I can show her how to use it safely, if you like, but I don't want to tread on any toes.
Oh, please go ahead.
Alright, yeah.
No, she is my squire, but she is all of our problem.
Rightio, yeah, I'll have a word with her, preferably before she loses an arm.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for looking in about her.
Nah, no problem.
Okay, so Balthasar and Katya are wandering around. Hiram, Zumbo heading off. Badger, Ameline, is there anything you're doing specifically kind of around town before heading back? Or just babysitting a girl with a bear trap?
With a bear trap on a chain, sure. Why not? We're used to this by now.
So, if there's nothing else, the rest of the day passes without incident or anything of note. Katya and Balthasar, you complete a full lap of Arabel, looking at all of the kind of shrines and whatnot dotted about.
We were mainly going to the Shrine of Melil.
Okay, I mean, Balthasar, did you want to look at any others, or just the Melil one?
Well, after Melil, I'll probably go to the other ones. But yeah, if Kasha has anything to do at the Melil one, we'll do that.
So, I mean, when you head to the Shrine of Melil, it is a quaint little statue of what appears to be a harpist on a little kind of statue plinth in a small kind of grassy fenced off area, kind of surrounded by a couple of houses. As per Katya's instructions, you begin to sing to invoke the blessing of Melil.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb,
Do you know,
little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. What?
Do you know Pipeweed Dreams?
No.
It's a halfling song.
I sang the only one I know.
Balthasar, if you could give me a performance check, please.
Can I aid him to give him advantage?
Oh, I don't think there's any help in Balthasar here.
Distinctly average.
Is it? I mean, yeah, it's a heartful effort, you know. But yeah, Katya, there is a part of you that kind of thinks, maybe it is just the acoustics of the inside of that helmet that's really helping out. You know how everyone sounds real good in the shower.
Yeah. All right.
Probably yes.
Look, Balthasar, it may not be Melil, but remember, like, he represented the whole song rather than just one part, and he's about creativity and inspiration, and there's no one more inspiring right now than you, and she's dug against your chest. So maybe not him, but you know, maybe all gods. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe you don't have one. Maybe you're, well, maybe not all. Let's hope not all.
Right. Do you worship Melil?
Yes, very much. And she takes out her pendant of Melil.
Oh, okay.
It's you know, when it comes to music, he was the obvious choice. I know my mother worshipped him, and I suppose I got it from her.
And does he give you inspiration?
Yes, I remember once after I wrote the Ballad of the Warhounds, I came here to sing it to him, and I think he was impressed. I definitely felt something when I sang it here.
Wait, I haven't heard it. Can you sing it for me?
Oh, of course you haven't. Yes. And she stands up near the plinth and starts a performance of Ballad of the Warhounds.
Ooh, sweet.
As you play
You've
that,
got to beat a 12, by the way.
Couldn't be too much of a problem.
What is your modifier?
A bard
My-
never
my-
says
my-
that.
my
Never ever
base-
say that.
My base is 12.
If you fail,
Okay.
Balthazar gets all your bard levels.
If you get a 1, it's shame.
yeah, performance check, Katya. The world's looking at you.
Oh, thank
Ah,
goodness.
okay. So yeah, you
23.
play through the Ballad of the Warhounds, and Balthazar, you are regaled with the tales of this adventuring group you have found yourself a part of. If Katya didn't already have inspiration, she would get inspiration.
Cute.
Sweet.
But doing a quick tour, because there are a number of shrines around the around the city. You head to the Shrine of Tempus. When you walk in, it would appear that oh my god. So you walk into the Shrine of Tempus, and all of the clergy that are kind of loitering around appear to just be really kind of well muscled and built. You can see
Yeah.
there's one person who's just kind of bench lifting the bench, like a stone bench nearby, and they just one's applying kind of natural oils to his chest just to catch the sunlight right.
Is this just like a gym with like lightning? Is basically what it is.
Basically a gym with lightning, yeah. You head to the Temple of Chauntia. There's just kind of a lot of people inspecting crops, and no, you don't kind of feel anything about that. There's a shrine to Helm, and it just seems a bit boring. Who would want to worship Helm? You head over to the Temple of Lyra.
Who's Lyra?
Lyra is the Lady of the Mists, as she is presented here. And as you wander in, and like you can't see anyone, and then a priestess jumps out and boo, and just kind of jumps out and surprises you.
Run out.
And finally,
It's the best place. Sorry, I wish we were there as well.
and last but not least, you head to the last shrine, just kind of feeling a bit, because you've been to a lot of shrines. You notice that this one is a shrine of Denir, and that there is it's basically just like a statue of what looks like just like a hermit, if you will. But sat on a bench nearby is just this kind of old man in what looks like a very kind of Western monk style set of robes. Like it's just like he's got the bit around his shoulders, and he's just kind of dozing off slightly, like loudly snoring as you approach the statue.
Denir. Catch, do you know what they do?
Ooh, I don't know, Denir. Can I do a religion check?
You can indeed.
Thank you. Give me a sec. Religion. 14.
So, you know that Denir is sometimes referred to as the scribe of Ogma, the lesser deity of art, cartography, glyphs, images, knowledge, literature, and scholars. It would appear, as you glance over, you see hanging from the sleeping old man's, hanging from the old man's neck, is a symbol of, it looks like a stylized candle, and you realise that this old man is the priest of Denir, just catching his mid-afternoon nap.
If it does turn out that Denir's your deity, we're linked through Ogma. So big sort of kinship that we share.
Or is Milil associated with Ogma?
He is, yes. As is Denir and Gond.
So,
Oh, okay.
Balthazar, as you stand there, you feel somewhat at home in front of the statue, but not quite. It's not quite like you feel, the fact that this is a god of knowledge tickles your fancy, but there's just something's not quite.
Yep.
It's a 6 out of 10.
Balthazar will do a little prayer and like sit down and kneel and then wave his stick around and do a bit of reading. I don't know, try and see how it feels like. Yeah,
Sure.
Kache could be that. Could be Denier,
I mean, it makes sense.
I guess. I suppose maybe I used to work in an archive, so books, knowledge.
Maybe.
Balthazar, you say your prayers, and like as you look around, kind of expecting something to happen, you watch as a leaf is blown off a nearby tree that just kind of lands on the face of the old man as he kind of snores away. But apart from that, nothing else of note happens.
Cool. Balthazar might leave it at that.
Okay. So, you, as you head back to the tavern, I'm guessing if the two of you were doing a tour, you would be the last ones in. So as the two of you enter into the tavern through the blue smoke, and find yourselves back in the Wild Serpent Inn, you see the other Warhounds gathered at a nearby table, as the sounds of the bluster and peculiar noises of the various patrons in the town kind of wash over you. And before you all retire to bed, is there anything that you lot want to discuss with one another before tomorrow? Okay.
I'm good.
No.
Is there anyone outside of the party you lot want to talk to?
No.
I think just considering considering it's kind of a creepy job we're about to do, I think Slate would probably be sitting in the bar area, trying to just kind of relax a bit with an ale and talking to any of the party who were willing to talk. But nothing special, just shooting the shit basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
In which case, Mitrofa has food and drinks brought over to you, courtesy of the Lovecraft Gnome staff. You chat, you laugh, you joke, you just kind of try and get as much of a good feeling before tomorrow. As you retire to your various rooms, and you open the doors to your rooms, and they are, as you remember them being, very specifically catered to each one of you. So, Badger, yours looks like your treetop abode. Katya, you've got that massive floofy bed with a big floofy dog bed.
Which she leaves and probably goes to Slate's room.
Hiram, you open the door to find the dormitories of Warhounds HQ. Zumbo, you see your trusty hammock. What was Slate's? What was Slate look like as Slate walks in as Ameline?
There's one side of it is particularly ostentatious, big plushy bed, and the other side is a big oak tree. I think it was an oak tree. That's kind of got big, large roots that kind of make a nice, comfy bit to lie on.
Sure.
But this time, Ameline chooses the big, comfy bed rather than the plushy, nice, soft moss of the tree.
Fair enough. Okay. So as you kind of disappear back into your rooms, Balthazar, you're the last to enter your room. And as you stand at the door, like last time, as this happen, like as you're stood there going, with your hand over the handle, you can see, like, there are these wonderful looking rooms that everyone's walking into, and that you just pause for a moment as you remember that the last time you opened the door, it was a bare, empty room.
It was nothing. It was the first night with the Warhounds.
And as you turn the handle and push the door open, you look inside. The room is smaller, but there is a simple little wooden bed in the corner. There is a small table next to it, a small bedroom desk with a single lit candle and what appears to be some sort of kind of journal, and a couple of books scattered just off to the side.
Oh.
Otherwise, the room is unfurnished.
Oh. I guess Balthazar will go and look at the books on the table.
Okay.
And bring his pile of books and add them to it, I guess.
Yeah. So the books that you find, as you look at them, the titles, like as you try to kind of comprehend the words on the front of the books, the words almost seem to be kind of non-intelligible, but you do have this feeling that they're yours.
Okay.
But yeah, you drop your stack of books on top of it, and as you tower over this tiny bed, you look at it and it looks like a bed made for a child.
Yeah. Balthazar will sit on it.
You sit on it and it squeaks uncomfortably, like it creaks. And as you kind of look, you realise that if you lay down, like the small of your back will be on the edge of the bed.
Yeah. He just sits there and takes out his book and starts reading the book of Drow poetry.
Okay. It's really heartfelt stuff. Like it's nourishment for the soul.
Yeah.
Like you feel
Dead to me.
You feel like the name Midnight Raven rings a bell, but whoever this poet is,
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
If Balthazar could shed a tear, he would.
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
And with that, you all turn in for the night. You all turn in for the night. Badger, as you kind of drift in that state between lucidness and sleep, like through the darkness of like your closed eyes, it feels like there's almost a light that's beginning to illuminate, but it doesn't feel like it's a light outside, like on the other side, the outside of your eyes. And you hear a voice in your head say, "I think we should talk."
Oh, there you are. Okay, let's talk.
I have spent some time thinking about what happened some days past. I am not proud to say that it is taking me this long to consolidate my thoughts on the matter, but I have come to the conclusion that I am sorry.
Oh. Really?
The gifts are high. We are trained from a young age to control our emotions within the ever-changing wilds of Limbo. It is through this strict iron discipline that we are able to craft a home for ourselves, so we may survive, we may prosper. In that moment, when I saw the hunter on the walls of that fort, I felt something that I had not felt for some considerable time.
What was it?
It was fear, Badger. I saw her visage, and I was scared. I feel I have let you down. I feel I have let myself down. You needed me at that point, and I was not there to offer you help, despite all of the safe harbor that you have provided me. Please, I wish you to accept my apologies.
It's a strange relationship we have, isn't it, Azurad?
It is.
We didn't get to choose each other, and yet here we are. Of course I accept your apology. I'm frankly gobsmacked that you're making it at all, but, feels like we're growing together, I just wish there was something we could have done for Renna. I felt so lost. And just when I thought we were coming to understand one another, you weren't there. I was disappointed and quite angry. But I appreciate you saying what you did.
You feel a flicker of, like you feel the gift pause as he's kind of contemplating.
All I can do is promise that next time we meet the hunter, I will have conquered my emotions. I will be better next time. And there will be a next time. The hunter knows that I am here. I fear that she will not stop in her hunt for me. I find it odd that she has been drawn here anyway. The shadow that loomed over Fort Lymera, that was her flagship. A mobile, a floating battle fortress, you could consider it to be.
It had dragons in it.
It had dragons in it.
Dragons in it.
The Githyanki are normally known for their smaller, agile, quick hunting skiffs. But for her to have arrived in her flagship, there is something that she has discovered that is deeply troubling to her. And she intends to bring her full might to bear.
What did she want with Renna, though? Like, you say she's after you. She didn't even seem to know who you were.
This is the part that confuses me. After all, although she struck down my physical body, I was able to escape, but I had assumed that she would travel the stars to finish the job. Perhaps something else has caught her eye.
Yes.
The dragon, the half-dragon you have spoken to, the dragon folk.
Yes.
He mentioned illithids. The scale at which the Dragonborn was speaking of an illithid infestation is troubling. Troubling indeed. We must only hope that Avrad Areth has not arrived here under news of this infestation. The Githyanki, the Githzerai, and the Illithids are mortal enemies. This you understand.
Yes.
But Avrad Areth, the hunter, is particularly cruel and overbearing when dealing with the Mind Flayers. If she deems something too far gone, she will not hesitate on salting the earth and burning everything to ash to stop the illithid menace.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound good at all. Because the illithids are here, you see.
Yes. I could understand that being an intense problem for you all.
Yes.
Thank you for your continued patronage and your understanding.
You have my understanding. The patronage I have no choice over. But yes. Good talk. Thanks, Azarad.
There's you feel like a warmth, a glow of, you wouldn't call it happiness, but it's certainly a feeling of content that fades along with the silvery light as you drift off to sleep. And as you all wake up for a brand new day, we shall grab a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
Cool. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Yeah.
Ta-ra!
Hi everyone, Matt here. If you'd like a spot in Zumbo's crew, yeah, scary stuff. All you need to do is like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome back, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you enjoyed your breaks. The Warhounds rise on a glorious new day. Who is the last to rise? Vote amongst yourselves. It's going to be Katya, isn't it? Yeah. Cool.
Always
So,
Katya.
Katya, as you kind of lift your head off the pillow, like suddenly your hair just kind of sticking up where it's been smushed onto the pillow, and sort of you frantically kind of get yourself ready, and you rush out to the main room, the main drinking hall of the tavern. You can see the silhouettes of the rest of the Warhounds already at the top of, like, on that upper platform, in what you know to be Tarkalon's den. The job centre, if you will.
The job den.
And yeah, as you skitter up, like you take a few steps up the stairs to Tarkalon's kind of little area, you notice that Drool, it's just stopped at the bottom of the stairs, like takes a big sniff and starts whining.
I'm fine, he's just a pit demon. Yeah, actually, no, you can stay here, Drool. Don't worry about it. I might stay with... No, I need to go in.
And Drool, you notice, like, Drool, who's now decked out in fitted doggy armour, slinks under a nearby table, just kind of, like you hear noises of surprise from the patrons as Drool just kind of, like, slides around and over the feet of the people sat at the table.
Come on, boy, he'll give you some food. Orshafon? No, not Orshafon. What's his name? Micheva! Find Micheva!
Very different franchise, my love.
Very wrong franchise. Not a Final Fantasy D&D game.
As Drool kind of like belly crawls across the floor in an attempt to keep a low profile, in search of Micheva and breakfast sausages, and as you gently ascend the stairs, in front of you, you see everyone kind of stood a little tensely in front of the red, leathery, hided pit fiend, who sits at the table, hands clasped, glasses on the end of balanced on the end of his snout. As you make it to the top of the stairs, the smell of sulphur and brimstone assaults your nostrils. And to Tarkalon's right stands Varaxus and Garabrail. And as you ascend, you hear a voice in your head say, "Good morning, Miss Donahue.
Good morning, Lord of Hell.
I trust you slept well.
I could have used 5 more minutes, but
Couldn't we all, Miss Donahue? Couldn't we all? Now, as I understand it, you are to... I have been handed a job offer from one Mr. Varaxis here, and it is specifically titled to the Warhounds and +1. I believe Mr. Emelinar here will be accompanying you.
I'll reply in Infernal. It should say intern on the note. Does it say intern?
He picks up the contract and he peers at it, and then he looks back to you and he says, which you understand to be, unfortunately not.
Sad.
contract's invalid.
So, if the location of the next job, I understand to be the town of Wheloon. I hear Wheloon is lovely this time of year. Just the right amount of overwhelming oppression and sadness. I understand. So marvelous for the complexion. If you are hereby tasked by Mr. Varaxis to inquire into threats towards the sovereign state of Cormyr and return upon finding any information pertaining to the investigation. There will be the sum that you will, in return for information that Mr. Varaxis deems worthwhile, you will be rewarded with the grand sum of 500 gold. Oh, and he pauses. Beg my pardon. 500 platinum.
Each.
No, between you all. Beg my pardon. It makes it easier. There's a typo here. 600 platinum.
Right, let's get going. Come on, everybody.
As you say that, Varaxis stood next to the pit fiend.
I must apologize. As I say, my coffers are somewhat limited, and I feel I do not have the wealth to spend any more, I am afraid. Not if we have future propositions for the Warhounds in the future.
I mean,
Okay,
it is
I
a
think we need to be a bit clear here. We have mostly been joking. This is fine. You don't have to pay us that much.
Here I am. I'm sorry about him. He's had a very tough time recently. He's not thinking straight.
I'm not saying we shouldn't get paid. Obviously we should, but I'm just saying let's not bankrupt the man.
Well,
For a
I
good
think-
cause.
I mean,
If you were to give us more money,
Very-
then we'd like you more. But with this, with the coin that we're getting, we can do a job, and we can do the job well, and we won't hate you for it. We just won't think you're the best.
Yes, we have a tiered friendship system, and you buy into the next
Okay,
tier.
I think that's enough. I'm gonna grab Katya and Slade by the collar. Let's go.
Well, they barely did anything!
Was Balthazar about to say something?
Yep. Hiram's just being sarcastic. It's all good.
Don't do sarcasm.
Okay. Yep.
As you go to drag the Katya and Slate away, Tarkalon raises a clawed finger and, before you go, I require the signatures to accept the job contract, he says. And he slides a bottle of thick red liquid and a quill towards you.
This is
On the
exactly why I
dotted
wanted the pen of illiteracy.
on the dotted line, if you please. Full names or true names or given names, we can use either.
Is everyone signing, or is it just Hiram?
I think we all signed, don't we?
There-
We all sign.
Everyone to sign,
Why
please.
would I be the only one signing?
Oh,
That
yeah,
doesn't seem
no.
fair.
I mean, Balthazar, it would mean if he was the only one to sign, Hiram would get all the reward to himself.
In which case,
Oh, okay. I'll sign.
Yeah, happy to.
Marvelous.
Slate walks up and just pens out a line.
Marvelous, he says.
Badger
Somebody
walks
will-
up. Oh, go,
Then
sorry,
bows.
go ahead.
Sorry, Julia, go on.
No, you go ahead first.
One at a time, please. One at a time.
Yeah, Zumbo will do he's trying to do a very elaborate kind of Zumbo Marifat, but it takes him a very long time. He's not actually that good at writing.
Okay.
You've got the pen of illiteracy.
As you sign your signature, Tarkalon looks at you, and you swear you see his eyes flicker slightly, and shh, he says.
Yeah. Breakfast's not bad here, is it?
Is there anyone else who is yet to sign?
Catcher steps up and just scribbles Catcher, Donahue, and Drool.
Marvelous.
And then draws a little paw print over Drool's name.
Aw. Do you not just get? Oh no, because he's downstairs. You could have got his paw.
Yeah.
And put it on the.
He doesn't want to be anywhere near this demon.
Okay, fine.
can we get
And,
Slate to turn into a dog and just do the paw print? Oh wait, no people around. Never mind.
I believe that's everyone signed.
Nope.
Oh,
Badger's not gone yet.
Miss Ningle.
Badger kind of comes up and giggles slightly as she finds the name and says, "Have you been working out?"
My dear, I'm always working out.
Does Badger put her number next to her signature?
That's what I was thinking.
What number precisely?
Her brainwave.
A room number.
Yeah.
Her brainwave so he can find you with message.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have a
can
room
pick me up.
number.
This is my favorite number.
Yeah, just her favourite number, 27. There you go. And off she goes.
okay, perfect. As you put the quill down, like a shadow looms over you, and as you look up, Garabrail picks the quill up, dips it in the ink, looks at it, looks at the thick, viscous red liquid that kind of loiters at the tip of the quill, and then in distinctly high elven scripture writes what seems, I mean, to the rest of you it seems like a ridiculously long name, but to you, Badger, you know it's just his name. But yeah, Garabrail signs,
There you are, Pit Fiend. The contract is signed,
he says. He turns to you all and,
Daylight is burning. Shall we be on our way?
I forgot you were coming with us. I
Yes,
guess we're going.
let's go.
Viraxis kind of lifts a hand up to stop you, and
As you have noticed, the wording of the contract is somewhat vague, but if you find Garabrail will be a good judge of whether the information we require, the information you uncover, is of significant value to us or not. But I trust in you all, and I thank you for doing this for such a small monetary pittance.
That's great.
Cormyr owes you many debts.
he says, and the Dragonborn bows ceremoniously,
You
and
wouldn't know how to help us cash in those debts, would you? By any chance?
Oh my god, let's go.
I barely did anything, she says.
Hiram,
God,
as you say that, you're looking at Katia, and as you look up, you can see Garabrail staring at you, and he just gives you this affirmative nod,
No,
like
none of you having none of that. Thank you.
like he approves. He approves of your iron-fisted sternness.
Oh, I feel bad.
That is hilarious to Badger. Absolutely hilarious.
So, with that, the 8 of you,
God.
because Emily's with you, make your way down. Garabrail stops one of the gnomes and,
We would like to leave, please.
Certainly, says the gnome. Just this way. And the gnome kind of like leads you through the tavern. Oh, excuse me. And eventually leads you to what you would understand to be the entrance. And then it takes an abrupt right down a corridor to what appears to be just a room. The door to a room. And safe travels, he says, and opens the door for you. And through the doorway, you see a cobblestone street laid out in front of you. The buildings opposite you. So there are a couple of buildings ahead of you. You notice that the walls of the buildings are like white plastered. The roofs are... And sort of like all the buildings seem to have this kind of very similar, almost like white plastering. It's seemingly that the buildings within this city, within the town of Wheloon, were built from the same quarry, perhaps. But you notice the roofing materials are very similar as well. But the buildings are kind of encrusted with this kind of ingrained grime. That, you know, it's a sort of grime where no matter how hard you scrub, it's not going to come off. And yeah, the gnome stands there smiling at you. After you, he says. And Arabel kind of walks between you forcibly and steps out first.
Badger will go next.
Okay.
Yeah,
Chiron.
I'll follow Badger.
Okay, so we all go.
Chiron will go in, as it will be Chiron that goes through the door.
You all
No,
get
the
stuck
portal.
as you go at the same time. Okay. And as you step out onto the street and look left or right, you turn to look behind you, and you see a closed door to a tavern. A tavern with the sign overhead reads "The Scarlet Sheaf."
Ooh.
Well, I guess we've earned a drink.
Is there anyone about, Dan? Is it busy?
So, hang on, let me...
Zombo's kind of, from everything he's heard about Wheloon, he's kind of expecting like a ghost town or for it to be filled with vengeful people. I don't know.
Sure.
Is there a tourist information point in Wheloon?
So
Local sites and attractions.
So as you step out and kind of look around, the streets are nowhere near as busy as Arabel's. And those of you who are, Zumbo, you probably haven't been to Wheloon.
No.
Chances are you wouldn't have been to Wheloon. How old is Zumbo, sorry?
Well, he's early into adulthood, so for a halfling, it's like mid-30s, isn't it? Something like that.
Okay. So for pretty much most of your life, like your active life, you've known Wheloon to be a prison colony.
Yeah.
And it's only recently, like effectively with the end of the war, that it was sanctioned to be reopened, like reborn as a trading town again. And yeah, for effectively, well, I guess perhaps everyone but Badger would kind of know, but yeah, the town of Wheloon was turned into a prison colony as punishment for harbouring a cult of Shah in the wars leading up, in the years leading up to the War of Shadow. As you look off into the distance, you can see high walls that circle that cover the entire perimeter of the city, and they even now that the town is kind of free and open again, the walls give this kind of overbearing presence, almost as if they're threatening to loom over and crush you in their shadow. The city the town itself feels a bit like a ghost town. During the War of Shadows, Wheloon was attacked, quote unquote, by a mad general called Lady Marshina, who was a Sharan cultist. She freed the prisoners, and they promptly joined her army. People who did not join her army were hunted down and killed by her soldiers if they were found. The people you can see about the people who live here that you can see, they hold themselves less confidently than those that you've met in Arabel. Almost as if you can almost see the fear and anxiety on their faces, as if everything's about to, like someone's going to close the gates again. Other than that, you can see like merchants, a few merchants kind of trying to sell things, but again, it's nowhere near as profitable as Arabel. This is very much a city that is in the throes of rejuvenation, but it takes a lot longer than 10 years to scrub out 30 years of history that this place has been through. Zumbo, you would know one of the more important things about Wheloon is the river runs along north to south along Wheloon, and the Wheloon ferry services are some of the most well used ferry routes in the country. Since Wheloon's reopening, they are now beginning to spring back to life.
On the sightseeing tour, we could find Magnus's childhood home.
I think they've got a plaque.
Yes.
I bet he came back just to put a plaque up.
You do. I do wonder. Well, as you kind of look around, you can't help but get that feeling of Magnus not being with you as you look around, taking in his home, his birthplace, and yeah, just seeing the people that you can see really begins to make you wonder what it must have been like for a young Magnus back then.
Would I know if there's much of a criminal underworld in Wheloon? Has one had time to spring up? I'm just thinking, like, if a city's been locked down for a long time, then smuggling is potentially quite a big thing.
Yes, yeah. So the Wheloon, whilst the crown is active, whilst Cormyr is actively trying to kind of rebuild the image and reputation of Wheloon, there are certainly various kind of rival criminal syndicates and gangs that go around. You would suspect that they are, in inverted commas, on the decline. They're not as prevalent as they once were because of the improved presence of any purple dragons.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm just thinking if we're looking for something, a hidden threat, but we're not quite sure what it is, then the sort of people who are hidden and, keeping their ear to the ground might be good people to chat to. So as soon as we arrive, I'm going to be looking around for signs of thieves' camp anywhere in the city. If there's symbols on doors that suggest there's information points for thieves or criminals or something like that, then I just want to sort of clock those.
Sure, no, absolutely. Okay, so if you're keeping an eye for thieves' camp, as you're looking around, where you are, opposite you or in front of you, you can see a walled off area, which you recognise immediately to be some sort of keep, and sort of peering over the lower but still defensible walls. Who might know? Oh, what have I done? One of those. Right. So if I could have a... Oh. Happy all. Not drool. Badger, I would have to request you make this with disadvantage.
That's
This
fair.
history check.
Yes.
Well, it's a 14.
One for me.
2.
Oh wow, it's a 6 for Badger.
Got a 13.
Okay, so yeah, Hiram, with your hearty 22, you know that the large structure in front of you, kind of walled off from the rest of the city, is in fact it is Old Stone Hall, and sort of like Hiram's in his 20s.
25.
Okay, so whilst this is the first time you would have seen it, but you would certainly have been told by other members of House Silversword that Old Stone Hall was once the gargoyle-covered estate of the former Lord of Wheloon, Lord Sarp Redbeard. It's become a safe house for the city's purple dragons within the walls. Effectively, it's their headquarters. And with the death of Lord Sarp Redbeard, the current Lord of Wheloon is his daughter, Ella Redbeard. And as you kind of stand on the street, you can see just about make out a woman stood on an upstairs balcony, like a high level balcony, overlooking the city, as if admiring it before turning to go back inside. Yeah, as you kind of stand there looking about, you hear a grunt from next to you.
This place stinks,
says Garabrow.
Oh, maybe keep that to yourself when we are near the people who live here.
He sort of like scrunches his nose up, looking around, and well, he looks around as if, yeah, like he's looking around, and it's clear from his scrunched up face he's not appreciating what he's seeing or smelling.
You're the locals. Where shall we head? Where shall we look first?
Well, but the tavern is always the best place to get information. There's a lot of people who talk. If we can, I could probably sort us out accommodation, and maybe find out some rumours while we're at it.
Garabel like looks at you as you talk, and then you notice his eye wanders up, and
I believe the tavern is closed.
And as you turn around, well, he's looking at the Scarlet Sheaf, and yeah, the door is closed. The lights are off.
Well, there must be more than one tavern in this place. I'm sure we can find another one.
He grimaces.
Maybe. I suppose there might not be much else to do in this place but drink.
How much daylight have we got left?
It's morning, like 8-9 o'clock. Well, I'll tell you what time does Katya wake up?
Always 5 minutes after everyone else.
Okay, so it's, let's say 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so we got all day to walk around. Might as well get our bearings and stuff before we start drinking. I mean, I'm happy to start drinking then walking around, but might not be as perceptive.
I do have an idea of something I'd like to try while I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to look for a particular shop, is all.
Why? How do people feel about breaking the group?
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
Yeah, what can go wrong?
I have.
Literally just arrived at the town.
Katya actually raises a hand and waits for a moment.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. No, she waits for you to finish, but she's actually like there in the background, like.
Yeah, Katya?
If you don't mind me trying something, I might be able to have us all go around the city separately, yet stay in contact. Or I'll melt our brains. I don't know. It'll be one of the two.
Okay, can you be sure you don't do that second thing?
I will definitely try. But
Right.
since Azarad's helped me with this sort of awakening, I've been listening to your surface level thoughts a lot more, and I think I can connect us all to me as sort of kind of ascending, but a group sending.
You've been listening to our thoughts?
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
not-
Go back to that bit.
No, not your
What about
not your
what have I been
thoughts.
thinking
Your
about?
sort of your surface level thoughts. So it's the best way I can describe it. It's your immediate top of your head thoughts. So
So
Our
then.
thoughts.
this thing is tasty. No, I mean, I did try to listen to someone's thoughts once, but I think you kind of figured it out, Zumbo. Remember that time when you said that in the middle of that meal you had a really bad headache and you couldn't understand why?
Yeah.
That was me trying to get further into your mind. So I can't read your thoughts without you really knowing.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
we're gonna
have
have a little talk about boundaries in this crew at some
I mean,
point.
didn't you not say I should expand these abilities? I'm trying
Yes,
to
but-
learn how these abilities work, so I have to break some eggs in order to
Look,
make some
I'm
omelets.
a man
Badger
of very few
boundary.
thoughts, and I don't appreciate having to share them. What few I have.
I mean, so far, all I've got from you is, this is a very tasty breakfast. Oh my god, what is it doing over there? That was the one that I don't understand what that one was. And another time you were like, how did it get up there? I don't understand what that one was either.
Yeah, I have that one a lot. Yeah.
Put it into perspective, how would you have felt about us trying to get into your thoughts back when you were trying to keeping everything a secret about yourself?
I didn't know that this was a thing back then, so it would have been very impressive. And I'd been
Not
very
my
interested in
point.
how to.
How would you have felt about it?
I'm sure the patrons of the Dragon Riders Club would have been happier. Anyway,
Okay.
I think I can link our minds.
Without melting them.
Sure. I mean, there's only one way to find out, and that's link them
Let's go.
together.
Okay, right. If
I'll
Hiram
follow you.
and
Yeah,
Badger are happy, and Slate as well, and Balthazar,
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
fascinated. I don't know about happy. But
how
let's
about
try it.
we let you try this if you stop reading our thoughts all the time?
That's a good
Perhaps
idea.
I probably won't need to anymore because I've done the calculations, so to speak. I just had to figure out what all your thoughts sounded like, so I knew who was who. Because I'm having to try and sort these out in my head, so I have to know what you sounded like in your heads. Some of you don't
Okay.
sound like how you do outside.
So do we have to put our hands on each other's heads in a weird chain?
Just
And then I'll put my hands on Badger's head in front of me, and then go on, Zumba. You can put your hands on my head, and
And I
Like
put
my
my
Risha
hand
head.
on Zumbo's head.
Sure.
You're going to stoop.
Why not?
As
are
you-
doing this.
As you're discussing this at length, there is a voice that Hiram, there's a presence next to you, and Arabel looks up to you and says,
How on earth did you stop my doppelganger when you talk this much?
You've just explained why I think we talked him to death.
Also, it's called teamwork.
His head did explode.
It
By
did.
the-
That's also true.
By the gods.
I had nothing to do with that. Oh wait,
Give me
maybe I
strength.
did. Oh no, Garabel, get on this as well. I mean,
Oh no.
do we have to do it with Garabrail as well?
Why
We
don't
all
you
need
test?
to do it.
You could test it
Teamwork.
on him first, and if his head doesn't explode, then
Great
know.
idea.
I don't know if I can then link us all together afterwards. But so do you know what? Touch each other's heads. I mean, it's probably not needed, but I'd say, why not?
as you start touching one another's heads, Garabel looks at you all and says,
Absolutely not.
Come on, Gareth Braille.
No,
And-
Yeah,
let the
we'll
man
let you
not be
eat with
part of
us
this.
at the same table when we have
Come
dinner.
on.
As Coralon is my witness. No.
and the elf. The
Gabriel,
elf.
before you go,
Yes.
this is the player saying this. YOLO!
Oh wow.
I'm not willing.
That's true. No, she said, Gabriel, come on. And at this point, she tries to, and she closes her eyes like,
Okay.
don't explode.
Right. So
What is Jules' intelligence?
Yeah, I
score?
just need to check if my intelligence is higher than 2. I'm pretty sure it is.
Uh-huh.
Droll has an intelligence of 3.
Yeah,
Ah,
I
he
should be higher than the dog.
He can be bonded.
Whee!
Yay!
Yay.
So who's actually being picked up?
Oh, what it says, up to 8 willing creatures of your choice.
It's
Okay.
gonna be fascinating.
Right. So as Katya crunches her eyes closed, and you see her kind of pull in all sorts of faces, and then she opens her eyes, and her eyes are blazing white. And you feel as if someone has as if a water pipe has burst in your brain. And as you all kind of stagger a bit, you suddenly feel as if you're in a loud, crowded room. But slowly the noises start to kind of separate, and you begin to recognize the voices as one another. Over it all, you hear
Did you bond us with the fucking dog?
I don't have that much control yet, so I may have accidentally included Drool amongst everyone. I'm sorry. I will learn to do better in the future.
My voice will just come through, just go like, Gabriel, why wouldn't we bond with Drool? He's a valued member of this team. Thank you very much. We
Also, I wanna
also
point
bond
out-
with you, so that's a good question. Let's just all work as a team, maybe.
Yeah, Joel is a
So I
good
do want
boy.
to point out Drew speaks the less out of all of us.
as you say that, but you can still hear.
It's not
Sorry. Why would Drool pant in
Exactly.
his thoughts?
That's he pants in his mind. He's panting and occasionally barks.
Maybe that shows he's happy.
Yeah.
So-
Go on.
I don't know how long this will last, and I still don't know if it'll melt our brains, but at this moment, success!
I don't think I have a brain, so we're good.
My
Quick,
brain
let's-
feels not
opposite
very melty.
City to test it.
Right. So Gabriel looks to you and
I can't escape. I can't escape.
he says, and he just
Man,
turns.
Didn't invite you.
He just turns. He turns and wanders off. He wanders off to the. He wanders off to the south.
Close to the pub. Close to the pub.
When he goes, I'm going to turn around to everyone else and be like, oh, thank God, and then forget that he's also bonded.
As far as I'm aware, this shouldn't affect things we say out loud, it will only be things we think.
Good.
In which case,
And then
Katya, can you plant like a really, really annoying song in his head?
What if it goes in all our heads? We need to be careful about this.
That's the problem. We're all connected, so if I start singing in my head, you're all going to hear it. And again, as Smoke Pipe Weave Dreams is quite a catchy song. It's one that will get on your nerves. It'll definitely get on your nerves.
So there are 6 of you left. With Emily tagging onto Hiram and Jewel tagging onto Katya. How do
Emily
you
is in her head.
like looking around? You see that Wheloon appears to have almost like 3 extremities: one to the south, one to the northeast, and one to the north-ish west. So you could divide it into pairs and explore a segment each.
Well, Badger doesn't think any of us should go off alone, and so she is going to go, Gabriel, wait up! And run after him.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Okay, so Badger's going with Gabriel.
Zumbo will turn to Katya and go, Well, if I can hear you in my head, we might as well walk together. Come on.
Okay.
In which direction?
Most of us should go together.
Catcher's going towards sort of any shopping districts there are. Or in marketplaces. Shopping districts and marketplaces.
Okay, so that's Katya and Zumbo. Is anyone else going with Badger to protect her from Gabriel? In case
She's perfectly happy.
She
doesn't
can
feel
handle
worried.
herself.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got
a bond.
we do like a gang of 3-4 of us for.
So, the Katya, you
I'll-
wouldn't have been here. So, in terms of where looks promising, I guess going northwest. Look, there's the most amount of town in that direction from what you can see. Because you know that, like to the northeast. Actually, I mean, sure, cool. Actually,
Well, I imagine if there would be sort of like the main marketplace would be probably near the houses rather than, probably near the house, near the things. I imagine near a crossroads. So, probably be more near the docks. So I imagine if she's going to go anywhere, the main shopping district will now be near like the riverfront.
okay.
So I imagine between sort of like this series of numbers here.
Cool. Okay, so you're effectively heading north.
Great, yeah, the docks. Brilliant.
Where's Balthasar going?
Balthasar is actually going to go with Katya and Zumbo.
Katya and
Hey,
Zumbo.
wait for me. I'll join.
Cool. So that leaves Slate and Hiram to go northwest.
Northwest?
Yeah. Okie dokie. Right. So we will. So Badger, you and Gabriel first, because there's only one of you. You head towards the south of town, and like as the two of you walk along, like a gnome, a high elf, you are innately aware, like implicitly aware, that a lot of the local, or you assume they're locals, but they're all just kind of like looking at you suspiciously. Like there's a couple of curtain peepers. It's clear that the people here are regarding you with some degree of suspicion. Gabriel appears to have noticed, but doesn't care or doesn't care to comment. And the vast majority of the buildings that you see appear to be residential. As you wrap round, you see that to the south, to the southeast, you find the only shop, well, the only building of note is a shop called Helms and Shields, which surprisingly are the foremost retailer of helmets and shields in the Wheloon region. And in the other direction, you find what appears to be a soup kitchen.
Ooh.
Called Harvest Hall. It looks like it was once a much more impressive kind of building, but presumably on hard times this place has been retrofitted to be like there's a healthy amount, well, an unhealthy amount of people kind of loitering around with kind of wooden bowls, and you notice, like you see in like a lot of them, their clothes are kind of tattered, old, ragged, and you notice them kind of shivering, and it's at that point that even though like this time of year isn't particularly cold, there just seems to be like a clamminess that lingers over the town. It just seems to have the sort of the sort of feeling that sinks into your bones. But yeah, it looks like it's a particularly busy time. People are getting, you assume, breakfast. Yeah, Gabriel like looks at all the poor people basically, and just huffs and turns to leave.
Look at all of this devastation. This is what happens when the monarchy is not in touch with the needs of its people. They let these people down terribly, didn't they, Arabel?
He stops. Cormyr seems to have a habit of letting people down, it would seem. And he looks at you and he just seems a bit more open talking to a fellow Cormantheran.
I mean, it does feel that way as an outsider, doesn't it? But it's a tricky place, Cormyr. It's very proud, but also very problematic, and I don't know, a lot of the nobility here are very selfish.
He nods. And like you see him kind of dismissively look around and...
Well, they shouldn't have too much to complain about. At least they haven't had a city dropped on them.
No, they just got shut in for 30 years. Devastating in its own way.
And he looks at you confused.
Why?
Oh, because of all the Shah worship.
No, but why would being locked in for 30 years be a problem?
Oh, well, because, Arabel, you see, these people are mostly human, and humans only live about 80 years or so if they're healthy. It's not like the elves where you can just shut the doors for 50 years and nobody really cares.
But that's why these humans keep having children, is it not?
Well, yes.
They value a quantity over quality approach to life.
I mean, sure, they do. They think about family and legacy and all that, but if you think about the experience of an individual who's so short-lived, it makes sense that it would impact on people's whole lives to go through something like that. I wouldn't expect an elf to understand.
A town full of mockingjays, all of them.
Possibly.
And yeah, as you watch kind of more people coming out with barely even half-filled bowls of very watery looking soup, you notice that Garabrow has already wandered off. We will so Catcher, Balthazar, Zombo, as you begin heading up towards the northeast, you pass a couple of noteworthy buildings. You see there, you do pass a tavern on the left, sorry, an inn, beg my pardon, called the Lantern Inn and Boathouse. And you make a mental note of that to look into when you come back. The thing that catches your eye is that to your right, on the edge of the water, on the edge of the river, is a wood.
I'll make a note of that as well.
A large wood. And as you kind of pass by there is a path that leads into the wood. As you pass by it, you notice a statue that appears to be, in inverted commas, guarding the way.
Do we recognise it?
I could have the three of you. Not roll. Roll me a history check.
That is a 23.
11.
I don't.
Okay.
19.
Nice.
Okay, so Katya and Balthazar, you both recognise the statue to be a depiction of Ilan Wildfinder, a wood elf. Katya, you know him because of the stories that you've heard about him, but fundamentally, when the Sharans arrived when Lady Marshina arrived during the war to quote unquote liberate some of the occupants of the city were a caravan of wood elves that were trapped in the city when the walls magically were created around the city. These wood elves basically penned themselves in and grew a woods in Wheloon to call their home. And yeah, when the Shadowvar arrived, the wood singers bravely fought against them, tried to hold them off, led by Ilan Wildfinder. He was unfortunately killed in the confrontation. But in memory of his sacrifice, and almost as like a reparations to the Wood Elves being trapped in Wheloon against their will, a statue was raised to honour Ilan at the edge of the forest. Yeah, as you kind of head on a bit further, you get to kind of here. You can see that the city stretches on for quite some distance to the north, and like up off in the distance, like far off in the distance on a raised bluff, you can see what looks like a flat top bluff, and there appears to be some construction going on up top. But as you're kind of stood peering up, Balthazar, you turn and, like having kind of been advised of it, you turn and see that there's a shop with a sign hanging above it that says Cobbler.
I think before that, Balthazar would have asked Catcher, what are we doing? Who are we looking for?
I hope they're still alive, but I feel I owe it to Magnus to at least tell his parents how he is. And with his name is Cobbleson, and putting two and together, his either his family are cobblers, so I assumed that maybe his family would still be working as cobblers in the city. So
wait, we're just gonna go looking around for every single cobbler in the city and hope it's
There are-
Magnus' parents?
that many, I assume. I
Well,
mean,
there's one there.
It's a nice idea, Katya. Bit of a stretch, maybe, but we can try it.
it is. I just
As you say this, like Balthazar's just stood pointing, just looking at the two of you.
I mean,
There's one there.
I'll try. I mean, if it goes nowhere, then it goes nowhere. But at least I tried.
Yeah, sure.
And she pokes her head into the shop.
Okay, so as you push the door open, you hear the little ding-ling-ling-ling as the door hits the bell. And Slate, Hiram, and Emily, as you head to the northwest, you have a little scout around. You pass what appears to be some sort of armory, a place that sells it's called the Slowtooth Armory, that sells armors. As you look around, you see that there is a Bagolt's Books and Rare Inks, which seems slightly out of place, slightly understocked. As you loop up, you find a small lake in the northern part of the segment, and as you finish your loop round, you find a quaint little... You wouldn't call it a temple, but it's bigger than a shrine. It's a small enclosed little area. And inside, as you kind of peer your head in, you see a banner that depicts a crescent moon with a set of kind of eyes floating around it. And seeing you kind of peer in, a woman steps forward and good morning. Welcome to our shrine. Are you Selune worshippers yourselves?
Right, we are just wandering around. Very nice shrine you have here.
She smiles, and thank you. We do what we can for the city in this time of need.
At this point, Chiron goes, sorry, I'll be back. Well, I've got to go. And then Chiron runs away and then changes. And what's back is Ameline, hopefully outside, obviously, of people.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, so good to be here.
Ameline, there you are.
Yes. Sorry, I saw Chiron go past, but he's over there. I'm here, ready to be here.
The priestess looks to you, and you may find this a peculiar request, but would you mind coming in for a moment? It's been so long since we had any visitors.
Not at all.
I don't think why not.
Here?
The priestess smiles, and as you head into the shrine of Selune, we will call it there.
Mysteries.
Steady.
Exciting.
With that, congratulations everyone on completing session 15.
Level 10, level 9. I said it.
Session 15.
Level up! Yes!
Yes. You have all now arrived in Wheloon, and hopefully
We didn't set anything on fire.
nothing's on
Except
fire
on
yet.
Yeah.
Hey.
How many cobblers
Yeah,
do we
I
have
was
to
worried.
kill to become level 10 then?
Just the one because of how much it hurts Magnus.
Ah,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Perfect. So, we'll see what we'll see what Wheloon has to offer you. Hopefully, we will begin unraveling the mysteries of this artifact that you so desperately seek, and hopefully, Arabel won't go on a rampage because he's tethered to a heavy panting dog.
If he does, at least we had to hear it.
so honestly, I'm more worried about Slade and Hiram joining a cult.
Moon cult.
Moon cult.
Yeah,
Right.
go back to the team like, hey guys.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week.
See you next week.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 A shadow lingers over the town of Wheloon, and who's to say what the Warhounds will unearth in the dark as they search for clues for the mysterious artifact. Join us again next week to find out. Many thanks for watching this episode to the end. We appreciate your continued support. I'm hoping the channel's starting to look a little bit more lively with weekly episodes, shorts, and segments from our new podcast, Tavern Between Dimensions. You can listen to both Tavern Between Dimensions and episodes of Cormyr Echoes of War in audio format on Spotify, Apple Music, and other streaming platforms. Links are in the description down below. If you enjoyed this video, you can find more content like it right in this little box over here. While you're here, it really helps us out if you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified of new content. Thank you once again, and as always, may the realms endure.